back to the water cooler, everybody. We're obviously impeachment heavy today, and I'm personally pretty heavy, but that's a separate dietary issue. I want to deal with Israel and Iran and the relationship between the two now that Donald Trump is no longer in office and we have a new president, President Joe Biden. And who better to discuss all of that with than my good friend Joel Rosenberg. He's editor-in-chief of All Israel News and author of the novel The Beirut Protocol. I mean, Joel churns out the books like you wouldn't believe. They are great reads. Joel, great to see you there from Israel.
Great to be with you from Jerusalem. Happy to chat with you. We need to get you back once our airports open and COVID is no more.
I'm ready. Yeah, I'm ready to go. And save some falafel for me. Do me a favor. All right. Let's start with a 30,000-foot view. Biden's in, Trump is out. What's the take on the streets of Israel, if you will, as to what that means for Israel?
Donald Trump was enormously popular here in Israel because he didn't just say nice things about Israel. Most presidents do. President Obama accepted. He was a train wreck with the Israeli people. At one point, Obama was down to 4% approval ratings.
Wow.
But Donald Trump became enormously popular because it wasn't just rhetoric. He actually did a whole series of very, very positive moves here. And so now the way he left office, not to get into your last few segments, but shocked people here. But Israelis don't have strong opinions one way or the other in terms of impeachment or not impeachment. The question is, there's concern. Biden is widely considered not Obama. People here aren't scared that he's going to be a train wreck in terms of chemistry or his love for Israel, but his judgment. It's going to be about judgment, and it's going to be about, does he get into a deal with Iran that's as bad or worse than his predecessor, his president before Obama, or has he and his team learned some lessons and they're going to be much savvier? I don't know. I am skeptical, but I'm trying not to be cynical.
Well, I want to pick up on that because he had that interview with Norah O'Donnell from 60 Minutes, or CBS, excuse me, where he said that he's not going to lift sanctions until Iran gets their act together from a nuclear enrichment standpoint. So, therefore, what are we supposed to make of that? It seems like I have no idea what he wants to do. It sounds to me, Joel, personally, like Biden wants to do some sort of 2.0 Iran nuclear deal is what he wants to do.
He does want to do that. And he said through the campaign that he would do a 2.0 nuclear deal, meaning, and I've talked to a number of his close current and former advisors for All Israel News, our new site, because I'm trying to get into the mind of people who know him and are going to be able to help me understand where he's going. Look, I think Biden does not want to deal with Iran. He's got COVID to deal with. He's got the economy to deal with. He's got a lot of domestic issues to deal with. Iran is not an issue he wants to deal with. But Iran is forcing themselves on the agenda. They're enriching uranium above or at the 20% line, which is, according to some experts, the very red line that Prime Minister Netanyahu in 2012 told the UN, if you go there, it's going to trigger Israeli airstrikes. That's a big deal. Now, I'm being told by senior Israeli defense officials, no, they don't think Iran is quite at that red line, but they're getting close. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of concern that what if, you just said that Biden, gave a good message to Norah O'Donnell. That's true, meaning he said, I'm not going to remove sanctions on Iran until Iran stops enriching high enriched uranium. That's good if he means it.
Yeah.
The problem is President Obama gave us a whole list of things that he would never let Iran do, and then signed a deal that allowed them to do almost all of them.
Mm-hmm. Joel, what's the view inside the Knesset? What about Netanyahu and his relationship with Biden? What kind of political atmosphere is there as it relates to this new administration?
Well, David, that's a great question because historically, Prime Minister Netanyahu and now President Biden have had a great relationship. They disagree on a lot of things, but they've had a warm personal relationship. But as you and I tape this interview, President Biden has not called the Prime Minister of Israel Like weeks are going by. That has never happened. I can't think of a single example.
What do you make of that?
In the modern era in which an American president wouldn't call the leader of his most important Middle Eastern ally.
What are we supposed to make of that, Joel?
He's busy. No, I think that it's a signal. I think it's a signal. It's certainly being read here as a signal that Bibi Netanyahu, you think you're so special? We'll get to you eventually. Mm-hmm. But I think the other issue is I don't think Biden and his team have an answer for the question that Netanyahu is going to ask, which is, what are you going to do with Iran? And won't you let us, Israel, and our Arab allies in the region be part of the conversation in helping you craft that strategy? I don't think Biden has an answer to that yet. Mm-hmm. And that's a problem because Iran is forcing itself onto the agenda.
Yeah, and Joel, we've got about a minute or so left, but it does seem as we move into this new Middle East, and I call it a bit of a newly aligned Middle East with what Donald Trump has done with so many of these different Middle East peace accords and the Abraham Accords. So how does that factor into all of this? That sounds like three-dimensional chess to a degree.
It is, but Biden should be taking advantage of it.
Right.
Biden has spoken very positively of these Arab-Israeli peace deals, the Abraham Accords. But he's not. But every single leader of the Arab world that wants peace with Israel is telling Biden the same thing that Netanyahu is. Come and talk to us. Let us be part of this. We're terrified of Iran getting the bomb. Don't ice us out the way President Obama did that led to this horrific deal that we have.
30 seconds or so. What's your sense of how this might play out? And not that you're going to be a fortune teller here in 4 years, but where are you on the meter of this goes well, this doesn't go well, or status quo?
Well, I'm not insane, so I'm not going to play the Russian roulette. We just don't know. Look, I will say as an evangelical, I'm praying for this new president.
Yep.
I'm going to be against him on he's pro-abortion, he's pro-transgender, he's big. I'm against all of that. But I need him to be good on something. Yep. Israel and the Middle East, Iran would be a good area to try to do something bipartisan.
Yeah.
Let's pray for him.
All right, Joel, I really appreciate you. Such a straight shooter. Joel, thanks for being here, and good luck with you have your new book out, the Beirut Protocol. Thanks again, Joel.
My pleasure.
All right, Joel Rosenberg staying up late in Israel there in Jerusalem. Love Jerusalem. Back in a moment.